Have you ever given any thought to making a really large purchase and exactly how you're going to save for it? Today, we're going to show you how to save in 2023 to really make those purchases and exactly how you do budget for larger purchases. When you look at auto loans, when you look at vacations, when you look at a home purchase, there is a defined way to really start saving for these to hit your end goal within a certain amount of time, making sure that you are on target. Number one, guys, defining the big purchase items. You know, you can't save for everything, but what if you could systematically save for one big thing that you needed, guys? If it's saving 10, 20, $30,000 for a house, maybe even able to save up for a new car or trip that you want to pay that you don't have to borrow money. So essentially what happens, and what I see a lot of times in my career, is a lot of people will say, I'm getting married, congratulations, I need to borrow $15,000 for a wedding, meaning that they are starting their marriage together with their spouse, $15,000 in debt. By the time they take 3 to 5 years to pay that off, now they're paying $18,000, $20,000, $22,000 for the wedding that they only spent $15,000 on because of interest, making sure again that you're saving money for the larger things in life versus just borrowing everything. When you couple that with student loan debt, when you couple that with credit cards, now you're stacking on unsecured debt or a home equity loan to borrow for that wedding. Things get incredibly expensive. Number two, guys, pay yourself first. Now, this is something you really need to automate and you really need to live by. Break up the direct deposit, have a portion of it going to another place. That is your savings account. Might be, you have an emergency fund one place, and this is not part of the emergency fund, guys. This is a savings that is set aside. The money is automatically transferred and it is earmarked for that big purchase. Again, I'm just going to use the fact of a wedding. If you're planning to get married in 2 or 3 years, you need to save $10,000. Putting away X amount of money every single week, every single 2 weeks, once a month, whenever you get paid into that savings account, will make sure and will ensure in 2.5 years when you're ready to tie the knot, when the date is set and you start pulling money out of there, you have adequate funds that are already set aside to make sure, again, that you have those set aside. Number three, guys, setting SMART goals. Now, most of us know this if you've done performance reviews, but SMART goals don't only have to be for building yourself in personal relationships. The specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, all of these can really break down what you're looking to do. So again, if you're looking to save enough to buy a car, if you're looking enough to save enough money to do that wedding, what exactly is it going to be? If it's going to be, again, that $10,000 or $15,000, break it down specifically into what it's going to be. If you have a 2.5 year timeline, X amount of dollars per month, that is going to go in there. It is measurable, it is attainable, it is relevant to exactly what you want, and it is timely because you do have a time frame in which you need to achieve that goal. And it is very specific, guys. You have to make sure, again, hitting all of those SMART points when it comes even to budgeting for large purchases, it makes a big difference. If you have a short timeline, it might not be realistic. And that's what a lot of people kind of look at. If you're saying, okay, I want to save $10,000, I have 90 days to do it, break it down, see the feasibility of getting that $10,000 in 90 days if that is what you're going to do. Number four, guys, use the 50-20-30 rule, 50-30-20, however you want to say it. This is really a line item budgeting that you need to know what you have for needs, what you have for wants, and what you're going to be able to save. Like we had said before, guys, paying yourself is really, really important, especially if you're looking to budget for those larger ticket items, because if you don't, you'll realize and quickly realize, again, that you're borrowing money. Now, with the 50-30-20 rule, again, 50% goes to the needs, which are classified as food, rent, healthcare, utilities, car payments. Then it goes into the 30%, what is the want category. So again, if you think about this systematically, the 30% of the want goes into your entertainment, your travel, your clothing, isn't a necessity like dining out. And the other 20% of it goes into savings. If you can theoretically do this, guys, again, using the example, if you're making $4,000 a month, that would leave $800 to save if you stuck to this budget and if you stuck to the 50-30-20. Now, also this means if you want to achieve those big purchase goals much easier, the 50-30-20 could be, again, manipulated just a little bit to give you a little bit more towards those big ticket items that you're looking to purchase. So even if you cut out some of the wants, let's say you gave up the coffee, you gave up some of the entertainment, maybe cut down on the traveling for a little bit while you're saving for that wedding, you can put and earmark a lot more money into those. Now, financial budgeting apps do work incredibly well for this because it gives you a tracking, an ability, and an accountability to if you're actually on target to make a goal. Where if you might personally go through month to month, say, okay, well, I put a little bit of money away. Most people, again, within that wedding fund, you might put a couple $100, maybe even a couple $1,000, but systematically, you're not going to get to the point that you want to within that savings account. Number 5, guys, the high interest savings account. Again, super, super important. We have CDs that are paying 11-month CDs that are 5.4%. So you have to make sure not only the high interest savings accounts, but if you're looking at shorter term CDs, again, if your goal is 2 years out or greater, where can you put the money aside? Where can you make the most of your return? So not only the money that you're putting into those high interest savings accounts, they're yielding a reward and they are actually giving you money back. But in addition, it is compiling and compounding when you have the money in there. Number 6, using a micro savings or again, investment app. We've seen Acorns. I personally use M1 Finance, which I have a link right down below, guys. It is an awesome investment app. But again, you have to remember and you really have to think about the investment with the money that you're saving for this bigger purchase because we could see a market downturn. That is where you really do have to be cautious about this. Because again, if you're putting $5, $10, $15,000 into an investment app, there are times where if you don't have the longevity of the 5, 10, 15-year window, where it wouldn't be really worth it because of the possible downturn. Now, if you do have, an absorbent amount of money, or if you're thinking about putting away money that is really earmarked for a specific expense, and let's say again you need 15,000, you're saving 15, 20, 25,000, could be worth it to invest it just to get that higher return. But again, with CDs paying as much as they do, with seeing a high yield savings accounts that are roughly 5%, even through M1, they are at 5%, guys. It would be more beneficial, again, with the money that is earmarked for the bigger purchases, that I would go ahead and put it into those accounts. Now, we always talk about the emergency fund and we always talk about a savings $1,000 is your basis, guys. Now, we know that is not truly the emergency fund. Emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your 3 to 6 months of expenses. The starter emergency fund is the $1,000, guys. So how can you save that incredibly fast? Number 1, adding a temporary income stream. We see a lot of people do this, whether they're doing YouTube, they're picking up DoorDash, they're picking extra shifts at work, they're mowing lawns, they have stuff to sell. Seasonal jobs are great. Side gigs are an incredible way to hit your financial goals very, very fast. Dumping some unwanted temporarily things. Again, selling things around the house, things you don't need, even if it is canceling subscriptions, canceling cable, really cutting down on dining, going out, entertainment, cutting down on expenses for a very brief time can make a very, very big difference. And the final one, guys, not paying extra on the debt till you get that $1,000 really saved. Big, big focus. So if you have credit card debt, if you have other debt out there, saving that first $1,000 is pivotal to get you in the right mindset. Do not keep putting money into extra credit card payments, paying above on the principal, on the mortgage, things of that nature, if you don't have that emergency fund well established, because what you're going to find is something will happen and you will literally go right back to borrowing money on the credit cards or doing more loans and putting you right back in debt where you do not want to be. All right, guys, I hope it really helped when you're saving for big purchases. Let me know in the comments what you're saving for and what you really do consider a big purchase. And as always, thank you guys for watching.